In the early 20th century, Buffalo was booming. It was a golden city of the industrial era, and so despite pockets of crumbling architecture, there is much about Buffalo that is beautiful. This city is waterfront on the banks of Lake Erie. Bike paths extend miles north and south and connect some of the nation's most well-planned green spaces, not to mention Niagara Falls just 30 minutes north. And it's in the early stages of exciting transformation. Young artists and entrepreneurs are flooding upstate from competitive New York City to capitalize on smaller pools of creative energy and cheaper rent. And for now, at least, the city is relatively quiet. It's easy to get a table at a restaurant or a ticket for a popular show without a huge line. It's easy to drive across town without getting stuck in traffic or run in the street without the fear of getting hit by a car. So while it wasn't a place I ever expected I'd visit to run, Buffalo, it turns out, is special. It's energized, it's creative, it's active, and the running, of course, is awesome. I'm Ashley Arnold, and this is Run This Town. Fleet Feet Buffalo is the epicenter of Buffalo running culture. Owners Ellen and Boots, along with their staff, have worked hard to create inclusive training programs and runs to get the city out and moving. And so, to get a taste, that's the first place I went, for a lively jaunt with Fleet Feet's half and full marathon training group through a still sleeping city.
But if you haven't seen already, the routes are right on the table. We have 5 miles for the beginner and the advanced half. Then we have 8 miles for the beginner and advanced full. So those are right on the table, but your pace leaders have the routes. They will take you in the right direction.
7, 5, 6!
Woo! Woo!
We pass diverse architecture with everything from a Frank Lloyd Wright original to Queen Anne-style homes. This is a cityscape built for 500,000 people that is now instead home to more like 300,000. And so the streets often feel wider than needed, and the traffic is sparse. While this makes driving easy, it also makes for a runner-friendly city. Less cars to hit you when oblivious drivers are focused on texting. What's more, Buffalo has a surprisingly large number of parks and trail systems. In fact, the Buffalo Olmsted Parks Conservancy is the nation's first nonprofit created to manage the entire city's 850-plus acres of parkland. Frederick Law Olmsted, the designer of New York City's famous Central Park, first designed the park and parkway system in Buffalo, and it's widely regarded as his best work. The unfortunate side, though, is that major connecting sections of the system were dismantled in order to make room for major highway construction back in Buffalo's booming days. The result? A scattered and broken park system still in much need of repair. But there's hope here. Even though it may be impossible to get it all back, a growing number of active, creative young folks are pushing for restoration. And yet, broken or not, runners from all over the city and its surrounding suburbs that train with Fleet Feet use every inch of park around.
You're welcome.
Jack-o'-lanterns. After the run, and with a growling stomach, I drove a few miles north to North Tonawanda for a bite to eat from a local waterside market, before heading back downtown to watch a matinee performance at Kleinhand's Music Hall by the Buffalo Philharmonic Orchestra. matinee show in Kleinhans Music Hall preceded my interview with Anna Maddox, an outstanding oboist and prolific walker. Because if it's a good city through which to walk, chances are it's also a good place to run.
So we're sitting in Kleinhans Hall, which is one of the most acoustically perfect orchestra halls in the world.
That is correct, yeah.
So what is it like for you to practice and play here?
It's, first of all, it's hands down the best place I have ever played in my whole career, and I've played a lot of different places. And I've auditioned for a lot of different orchestras too and played in their halls, and this is by far the best that I have ever encountered. When you're on the stage, you can hear everyone and everything that they're doing, and there's no spaces that are dead for hearing what you need to hear. It's an amazing thing, and as an audience member, it's incredible too, because the softest of softest sounds that we make and the loudest of loudest, you get to experience this full range of color, and yeah, it's incredible. Buffalo is an incredible walking city, first of all. Because of where we are in terms of like how the glaciers came across the continent, it's very flat. And the city is laid out incredibly well for walking. So it's, like I have to kind of go out and search to find hills and things to do, but because of that, you can do longer walks with less effort, is what I'll say. Right. So.
My next morning's run led me to Nowak Pier, or Bird Island Pier as locals know it, where I met up with Brian Stewart, Fleet Feet Buffalo's manager. The route is just about 2 miles one way, so the out and back makes a solid 4-mile run that takes you out into the water and under the Peace Bridge from Broderick Park. Despite concrete footing and a clear sight of the finish line, it felt strangely adventurous. Post-run, hunger pangs led me down a different path, one that led me to Allentown, Buffalo's eclectic, hip, and historic neighborhood. While art galleries and bars drew my eyes, my stomach led me elsewhere. I was in the neighborhood for a Buffalo staple I've refused to touch for most of my life. Luckily, I knew just the person to help me. This is Dana Dubinsky. She's a longtime runner and distance running coach with Fleet Feet in Buffalo. She is also an expert on wings.
Okay, wings were invented in Buffalo.
Yes.
So that's like, wings are a staple.
And there's so many different places that have, quote unquote, the best wings.
So why here? We're at Gabriel's Gate. Why this place?
So Allentown, which is where Gabriel's Gate is, it's such a great neighborhood. It's young, but a lot of the places have been around for forever. And this is just, I don't know, locally since 1864 this house has existed. So I don't know, it's just like a really cool place. Ooh, thank you.
The is the medium.
Perfect.
Four of these.
Thank you. We're gonna need those.
Okay, so this is the first time.
Okay, this is.
Okay, admittedly, I'm a little bit nervous.
I think that you'll be fine. They are delicious. So
I think you'll be
all right, so just kind of just take it. It's a two-hand activity for sure. And then just like find a spot and just, just bite right in.
They're kind of good.
They are very good.
They're horrible, I didn't say that. I'm taking all back. All of it.
Are you upset that you've waited so long?
A little bit.
Yeah.
So I heard that wings didn't actually migrate out of Buffalo or New York State, I guess, until the 80s.
Yeah, so it's kind of like was our own best kept secret, I suppose. But luckily, no matter where you go, they'll have them, but there's nowhere as good as in Buffalo.
We're in Buffalo. It's Sunday afternoon. There's a game on. You're wearing a jersey.
Can't not in Buffalo.
Okay, so why are you all so obsessed?
I think it's just kind of one of those like stubborn Buffalo things where no matter what they do, we love them no matter what. I feel like it's a rite of passage that you just have to like the Buffalo Bills. I mean, and it's hard not to. I don't know. There's just something so grassroots about it, which I feel like is a Buffalo thing anyway. We're just kind of like rising out of the ashes, if you will.
Yeah. You're not going to regret just getting one order. You're really going to regret that choice.
Even though most Buffalonians I talk to admit they rarely visit Niagara Falls, they're worth the drive. Luckily, Brian agreed to go with me. The falls are something special indeed. 150 gallons every second of fast-moving water on the US side, and over 600,000 on the Canadian side, flowing and falling and crashing from towering cliffs above. Imagine to have been the first person to stand beside the water and observe it, with equal parts awe and fear. Even just to hear the sound of crashing water and feel the cold, damp air today is amazing. It's easy to get to Goat Island now, a tourist destination between both sides with just an under 3-mile multi-use paved trail that circumnavigates its perimeter. While it's unlikely you drive here regularly from Buffalo, it's still an amazing place to run a few miles. I think if I've learned anything from this trip, it's this. Don't let the reputation of a place deceive you. There is immeasurable beauty and hope hidden in the most unlikely and most underappreciated places. Buffalo is creatively, geographically, and culturally diverse. So go and run and explore. It is still on its way, yes, but Buffalo is most certainly heading towards new heights in the not-so-distant future.